A quiet evening in Deltona. Inside a small home, everything felt peaceful. Lights were on, the atmosphere was calm, and 25-year-old Patrick De La Cerda was living a life filled with happiness. He had found love with Jessica Devnany, and their relationship was strong, stable, and full of plans for the future. They spoke about marriage, about building a life together, and for Patrick, this was the beginning of something beautiful. But that night, something unimaginable was about to happen. A call came in saying there was a delivery outside the house. It sounded simple, normal, and safe. Moments later, there was a knock at the door. Patrick walked toward it without fear or hesitation and opened it. In the next second, gunshots shattered the silence. Sudden, loud, and brutal. Within moments, everything changed. When help arrived, Patrick De La Cerda was gone. The news spread quickly. A young man had been killed inside his own home. There was no robbery, no forced entry, no clear reason. It was as if someone had come directly for him. Investigators were left with a mystery. Nothing in Patrick's life suggested danger. He wasn't involved in anything criminal, and he had no known enemies. So why him? As detectives began to dig deeper, they turned their attention to the people closest to him, especially his relationship. Patrick and Jessica's life together seemed perfect, but as they looked into the past, they discovered something that had not fully disappeared. Before Patrick, there had been someone else. At first, it seemed like a normal breakup, something people move on from, but this one did not end that way. Messages continued, contact didn't stop, and slowly the situation became uncomfortable and then disturbing. The person from the past began crossing boundaries, showing up unexpectedly and refusing to let go. It reached a point where action had to be taken. A legal warning was issued, a clear line was drawn: stay away. For a short time, everything went quiet, but sometimes silence doesn't mean the end. Sometimes it means something is being planned. Weeks passed and life appeared normal again. Patrick continued his routine, spending time with Jessica and planning their future, completely unaware that somewhere else, a plan was being created. Not in anger, not in the heat of the moment, but slowly and carefully. Step by step, how to approach the house, how to make sure Patrick was alone, how to get him to open the door, and how to escape. Every detail was calculated. This was not a random act. It was prepared, and then the plan was put into motion. Back to that night, the call, the fake delivery, the knock, everything had been designed for one purpose: to make Patrick open the door, and he did. Investigators eventually uncovered the truth when they searched a suspect's home. At first, nothing seemed unusual, until they checked the trash. Inside, they found a handwritten document. Cold, detailed, and chilling. It contained Patrick's address, instructions, and even reminders about checking if he was alone. It was the entire crime written down before it even happened. The mystery was over. The man behind it all was Gregory Bender, a person who could not accept rejection and turned obsession into planning and planning into murder. In 2021, he stood in court, and the evidence left no doubt. He was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. But even with justice served, something remains. A young man with a future, a life filled with love, gone in a single moment. All because of one decision, one plan, and one knock at the door.